We've all been duped, bamboozled, smeckledorfed. Not even a word, yet it accurately describes this situation. We have been lied to. Another example that no matter how convincing some things may appear on the internet, there's a very good chance it's somehow fake. This whole hoopla with Ruby Rose and the obsessed super fan who spent $60,000 on her OnlyFans in a month, and then had all of his text messages leak with Ruby Rose that were just completely unhinged, just lunacy. Turns out all of it was a coordinated marketing effort from an agency that worked in collaboration with Ruby Rose as well as the man portraying Brandon. It's not real. It was all a ruse. And many of us, myself in a big way, fell for it hook, line, and sinker because, man, did they do a great job with it.
I didn't purchase none of her OnlyFans content.
Ruby Rose.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was all a hoax?
I got in the situation where I just went and took a picture with Ruby Rose, right?
Okay.
I got paid for it. I didn't know exactly what it was for. I think it was like a promo thing or something or whatever the fuck it was,
I did, in my last video covering this, say that there is a chance that it was all staged because it was so over the top that it may have been used to drive traffic to Ruby Rose's OnlyFans. I at least had an inkling of a suspicion that that was possible, but I really didn't think anyone would ever agree to play the role that this guy did, the obsessed stalker porn addict. And after watching the interview where he blows the lid off of this, it seems he just didn't know the magnitude of it. They kind of kept him in the dark. And he even did get a real fucking tattoo of Ruby Rose's face that is now permanently on the back of his leg. Which, I mean, that's wild dedication. That's method acting that you won't find many classically trained thespians willing to partake in. So they really found a unicorn here with this guy. What a fucking champion to go through with something like that for the sake of driving money to someone that's not him. Now, before fully diving into this complex situation, I want to give a thanks to today's video sponsor. Big thanks to ROG Ally for sponsoring this video. As a fan of ROG, it was a match made in heaven when they asked if I'd be willing to partner with them for their ROG Holiday Advent Calendar, which includes 24 days of giveaways to share the ROG Ally with all of you. The gift of giving. And the ROG Ally can play pretty much every game since it runs Windows 11. It's fully compatible with Steam, Epic, Game Pass, GOG, and more. And it also has a 1080p 120Hz touchscreen panel, so you can tear up Fortnite OG, like absolutely run wild on it, like Matt most likely is behind me. It's lightweight, it's comfortable to hold, great battery life, which means it's easy to game anywhere, so it'll be great for the holidays. Now, ROG gave me a second ally to share with one of you, so all you have to do is comment hashtag 24 days of ROG, and the giveaway will be open for 7 days, and ROG will be announcing their winners on the Instagram page. For more details on the giveaway and to keep up with the 24 days of holiday giveaways, check out the ROG Advent Calendar in the link below. Happy holidays and good luck, and thanks again to ROG Ally for sponsoring. The interview dives into his lore and how he got this role here and how everything kind of played out behind the scenes. So I'm just going to show you a couple of clips from that, as well as explain what made this so much more believable than other attempts at similar things in the past.
And I met up with her. I take this picture. Next day, I'm like the fucking OnlyFans top spender. I knew there was like some kind of thing where there was like, had to do with the OnlyFans top spender shit, but I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So they made it look like I was her top spender, So
he's saying that he was under the impression that he was just going to take this picture with Ruby Rose and they were going to use it for some kind of promo thing, and then he eventually found out that now all of a sudden he's the OnlyFans top spender, and now he's famous for being a porn-addicted weirdo creep, and he just didn't know exactly what he was getting into here. Now, something that's super interesting is that even though this guy is coming forward and saying that this was all a bunch of mumbo-jumbo, all a calculated marketing effort, there are still people that refuse to believe it. They're going so deep, and I think it's such a testament to the current landscape of the internet, where even when the truth is being revealed, like fully, people just want to live in a fantasy. So what people have concocted here is that all of this is actually the marketing stunt. This guy really did spend 60 grand and more on Ruby Rose, and he's embarrassed and ashamed of it, so he's lying. He's going on this press tour about it in order to try and clear his name. He really did spend all that money. He's lying. He's just trying to cover up his shame with this fairy tale. and I'm smart enough to not to fall for it with my galaxy brain. And I find that just so fascinating.
So they
had an
didn't
idea
fill
they
you
were
in
gonna-
on this beforehand? They didn't say,
get-
hey, we have this big idea. This is what we're going to
So
do.
the
We're going to
idea
fake
was
this thing.
like they were like, we're gonna use your. I mean, they kind of let me know that I was gonna be like this, like one of her like subscribers, I guess, on OnlyFans or something like that, right? I was like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. You know, I didn't know it was gonna blow up to this big, huge story. You know, they said it was gonna be big, and then, you know, I was like, okay, cool. This is kind of cool. Whatever the fuck. I was like, when's the money gonna start coming in? You know, like I was like, I want some money out of this.
So they gave him just like the very basic rundown without filling him in on exactly how everything was going to play out, and he was expecting to be paid for it, I guess, over time through this deal, and that clearly was never in the cards. He was literally used as like a whoopee cushion for the internet to fart with, like just someone to dunk on and get Ruby Rose's name out there even more. Now, in my last video where I covered this, I said, like, yes, it's possible, it could be fake, but what would be the gain? Why would you fake this? Not only from his perspective, like, why would you take this role, but from Ruby Rose's perspective, because I just can't imagine who sees this story and is like, oh, wow, this is inspiring. I need to donate money to Ruby Rose. Like, I don't see how that works. I don't know how you take this marketing campaign and turn it into new OnlyFans subscribers for Ruby Rose. I guess it must work to some extent, otherwise they wouldn't do it, and I'm sure she's made a lot of money from it, but I just don't really get that thought process. Who watches this porn addict, obsessed stalker fan who doesn't stop sending the creepiest text messages ChatGPT can cook up, and then they're like, maybe I need to try. So then they start sending money to Ruby Rose's OnlyFans because of it. Like, I don't really get it, which is why I didn't think that it was super likely that this was fake. But it was, clearly.
And
But
then,
how are you going to get paid for it? And you're saying that they didn't tell you beforehand that this was going to be the storyline?
well, I knew there was this OnlyFans and like the person's the top spender, but I didn't know the story was going to come out to be bigger than what the story is now. You know, like where I'm like the obsessive guy who's in love with her and all
So the
this shit.
$60,000 number was fake.
It's a real account, but it's not me.
So he's claiming that the account is real, it just isn't him that did that. Now that's a little interesting because I feel like it's probably just a fake account. Like, I don't think there's anybody out there that actually did genuinely send $60,000 to Ruby Rose. If the account is real and that money did get sent to her, I have no doubt it's her own money that was sent to her from her team. Someone on her team made an account and just sent 60 grand of her own money to her. And OnlyFans, of course, is going to take a cut, but I guess they were just going to chalk that up to a marketing expense. Like, if the account is real and it's not just a fake Photoshop screenshot or anything, or a faked video, then that's probably what happened. There isn't actually someone there that sent the 60 grand since it's not him.
What's the next thing that's going to happen? And then I did say we should like get some kind of tattoo going, you know, like I'll get her name or something tattooed on me. I didn't think I was going to get a portrait
Where's the portrait?
on the back of my leg.
Okay.
So now so first I'm the top spender, and then it comes out to me being, I didn't know I was a Bitcoin billionaire, you know? I mean, I have some money, you know, but I'm not like, what do I think's a good price for the tattoo? Now I was like saying 15 to 20K, you know?
Now, he really did get an authentic tattoo of Ruby Rose's face firmly planted on his body. Now, he said he asked the team for at least like 15 to 20 grand for it, and then he went on to say, like, he has some weird tattoos, so it wasn't that big of a deal to him. He even said, like, you know, down the line, if someone asks, he'll just say it was his ex-girlfriend or something. So he, I'm assuming, got paid for that tattoo. He then goes on to say that they never told him about the whole, like, crypto billionaire angle or anything like that. So he went to a weed shop and someone brought it up, and then it started to hit him like, okay, this is kind of a big deal now. So this is where the most important part comes up to me, where it really sold me on this being a genuine case of a porn addict, obsessed stalker that is sending unreal amounts of money to his fixation, Ruby Rose in this case. This is the most important piece of the puzzle. That true life episode with Brandon in it. The porn addiction episode.
But then also you were on True Life fucking porn addiction, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was? And then I looked into that afterwards, but so
Were you on True Life porn addiction? Or because
No.
I saw that too. I saw that
that
there was
doesn't
like
look
a
like me, does it?
Oh, that wasn't you at all. I saw the picture and I just assumed that it was. Wow, is nothing real? Holy shit.
No, so I mean, so
This is the part that is just actually impressive to me because I would have never expected it. So, what happened is after the Ruby Rose initial post with her top OnlyFans spender, there were some super sleuths online that were doing digging to try and find out more about this individual because at the time he was like a fucking cryptid. This billionaire, wealthy porn addict that's sending all this money to Ruby Rose. This guy was up there with like fucking Slender Man, and people were trying to find out more about him. And then a post came and blew up that claimed that this person in the Ruby Rose photo, the #1 OnlyFans spender, is the same person from this True Life episode about porn addiction, and then showed a screenshot. And the guy in the screenshot from that episode, which is what aired in 2009, does look pretty similar to this guy here, if he was aged 14 years in the future. And I went and I watched that goddamn episode, and I really did think that this was the same individual. But it turns out it is apparently not. So, what this means is this team, Ruby Rose's team, planted that information there in order to sell the authenticity even further. This was one of the core components that convinced me that this was genuine, because you have this episode of a TV show from 2009. This isn't like a fake TV show or a fake screenshot or anything. This was a real episode of a show from 2009 with someone with a porn addiction that does resemble this guy, who is now apparently donating so much money to this OnlyFans creator. It was so thorough. Like, how would they even find someone that looked like him from a show in 2009 about porn addiction? It is the perfect fucking fit.
It was going to be, I didn't even know what was going on. And then I get the tattoo, and then it turns out to be, I'm like some obsessive like stalker guy named Brandon, which was the guy on True Life, where he was addicted to porn. And that's why, like, in the messages it says Brandon OnlyFan creep or some shit. I wake up, I see this post, and it's like the tattoo one, right? And then I'm like seeing all the text messages, and I'm like, I didn't even like read it. Like, I seen some of it, and it seemed like it was really bad, so I like just turned my phone off.
I really can't express enough how much heavy lifting drawing that connection between this guy and that True Life episode from 2009 did for this narrative. It really did make it so much more convincing. Because as I mentioned in the last video, those text messages are so over the top that it almost does feel satirical. But because I was working under the impression that this was the same individual from the True Life episode, it really does track for someone with a mental illness like that, an obsession, a porn addiction. Like, it does check out. So I'm still kind of stunned at the lengths they went to for this. Not because it's super hard to just like fake, a story about, hey, my #1 OnlyFans subscriber, and then like a fake screenshot of how much money they sent, and then even just like a flurry of text messages, you could easily whip that up super quickly. But what is very hard to do is find something that is old and real, the True Life episode, and connect it to something that's happening now. That is what makes it much more difficult. If that component with the True Life episode wasn't there, I probably wouldn't have fallen for this. That was the biggest thing by far. So yeah, wanted to give you the update here because, boy, we've been had with this one. This was a very well put together fucking OnlyFans promotional stunt, I guess. The guy does go on to say that he felt that the whole thing was just getting really weird now. Like, it doesn't seem like he's super happy about how everything played out. He doesn't like being known as this obsessive porn addict weirdo that's, enamored with Ruby Rose to an unhealthy degree or anything. So he doesn't seem really happy about any of it either. But I know who is happy. Ruby Rose and her whole team for this one. They're shaking each other's hands, popping champagne, and going fucking crazy together, I bet. So that's about it. So yeah. As technology continues to evolve, so do scammers. They continuously adapt and find new ways of fucking people in the ass. Most recently, I've noticed a lot of people taking advantage of the Ukraine-Russia situation where people are setting up fake donation links to help Ukraine when, in actuality, it's just going directly to the scammer. I've seen a ton of YouTube live streams popping up where it's a channel impersonating the official Ukraine account and posting a bogus donation link to a crypto wallet that they own, and it just goes right into their piggy bank, and it's just really fucked up shit. What I'm saying is, there's always tons of scams that are constantly changing. If you've played RuneScape, you have probably been scammed yourself. However, there's one scam as old as time. It's psychic energy manipulation, fake martial arts and shit like that. Honestly, just genuine anime shit where people really believe in this idea that if they focus on their breathing hard enough and really get in tune with their chakras and their belly, they can generate fucking Kamehameha blasts from the palm of their hands as well as set up force fields. It's a scam that's been around since I was a kid. I used to laugh at it when I was young, and I'm still laughing at it today. And it's just as popular, if not more popular now, than it's ever been.
So don't be frightened of your passion and your dark energy. Please use it in this. You can put the thumbs up if you like. It's to make contact with our source of power, the Hara, the Tantien, center of energy in the body. And when I say breathe out, and you blow out a black smoke, which is all the negativity, the tiredness, anything that is pain in your body, just breathe it out.
All of these classes sound like fanfic from the instructor. We're going to need to use your negative energy. We're going to have to harness that darkness within each and every one of you. Every heart has its darkness, and today we're going to channel that power into the most devastating, destructive event since the fucking meteor that killed the dinosaurs. So get ready. Get into the belly, the center, the poo-poo-ba-boo-boo, and we're going to channel all of that energy from your center and blow it out. He talks about, like, expelling all of the negativity and shit. Like, just breathe out all of the problems. That'll surely fix it. Oh, you're homeless? Just breathe better, idiot.
And then I say, look up. Hold the energy down into your body. And lock it in the belly. Look up, look up. Yes, it's coming out this way. Good.
I love this maneuver right here. They're looking like vampires that just got exposed to sunlight, so they're starting to melt. It's like a Redditor leaving the basement for the first time in 10 years. Now, this video is a video I saw like 7 or 8 years ago now, and it's just a timeless classic. I think it illustrates the entire problem with this scam top to bottom in a nice, easily digestible 7-minute video, which I will of course be breaking up and just showing you the greatest hits here in a nice little montage, give you the cliff notes. But it has everything. It has all of the dumb pseudoscience jargon. It has goofy posing. It has force fields and energy blasts. And it even has immediate regret, which I won't spoil.
And I say, bend your knees, cross the arms. And then break the chains.
Oh my god. It's all over. He broke the chains. No one's safe. That was the only thing keeping him in line, keeping his power in check. He's gonna rampage now! Fuck! He's free! Ah! And we thought the chains would be enough to hold him down? God damn it! This is the end. I just love this shit so much, man. I really fucking do.
Break the chains!
I love the guy in the red looking like Conan O'Brien over there. He's really getting wild and wacky with it. I actually thought for a second he was breaking real chains. He sold the performance so well. Just look at him go. He's experiencing a real exorcism. Maybe there is superhumans amongst us, and this is probably one of them.
More power, more passion, more power. Big. Look into the hands. Look into the hands. Look into the space between. Yes. Good, good, good.
I used to do this exact same thing when I was a child after watching Dragon Ball Z. They're making spirit bombs right now. It's a little spirit bomb making workshop. And I don't think any amount of opening of their third eye is going to necessarily create a real spirit bomb there. Unfortunately, I wish that were different, but it's a lesson I learned the hard way and one that they probably will too soon. This looks like a scene out of the movie Midsummer. Like, this is all very cult-like shit.
Good. 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 Yes, Magnus. Good. Good. Yes.
That's looking like me when I was trying to dance at clubs back in college. Dude's hitting like a mean TikTok dance or some shit there. He's having a full body experience right now. And I love this guy. This guy's so fucking great. It's like he's getting hit with an invisible lightning bolt. Just being electrocuted. He's just fucking...
So is there anybody who wants to try defending themselves? Well, it'll work, so it doesn't you really have to try. But is anybody ready? You're ready, actually, and you're ready.
You can't argue with the results. That man got fucking blasted. They hit him with the invisible Palpatine force lightning. It just zapped him. And then when he was writhing on the ground, flopping like a fish, he seems to have ejaculated at the very end of it. So not only will you be able to disarm your attacker, but then they'll come in their pants. The ultimate embarrassment.
Where were you guys? Where the fuck were you guys?
There's no doubt she immediately regretted paying for this course. Not only did she give money to get her ass annihilated, she then had to spend even more money on medical bills for her fractured pelvis, I imagine. I don't know if her pelvis was actually fractured, but in the full clip she walks away in excruciating pain holding her hips. So it was also a very hard tumble too. Unfortunately, she didn't set up the proper force field, and he just went straight through and bulldozed her, absolutely fucking steamrolled her. It actually looked like a linebacker busting through the offensive line to get a sack in the NFL. It was aggressive. He was coming in with a head of steam. There was no stopping him. Well, this is what happens when an unstoppable force meets a force that didn't even know the other was coming. It was devastating. She took a big fucking wallop there. And then he desperately tries to sell the performance, like he just starts like gyrating and seizing on the ground like, no, it actually worked to a degree. But you have to appreciate the other students' commitment to it. Like, they truly believe in it, because instead of like actually trying to help her and check on her, they both go over to her and like try and do a Naruto healing jutsu on her. So they're like trying to transfer energy as like the sensei's praying next to her, just praying to God that she doesn't sue so that he doesn't get a lawsuit. Like, this whole thing is just the perfect catastrophe to showcase the bullshit of the course. It is amazing. You couldn't have scripted it any better. I feel very bad for the lady for getting hit like that, but you had to know it was coming with a course like that. This kind of shit isn't just like goofily silly shit. It's dangerous because you convince people that they can do things that they can't. And also, after she gets up and walks away in pain, the teacher blames her for it, saying that she didn't really do a good enough job, and that only did a better job at convincing all the other students that it's real, because it made them a stronger believer. Like, damn, if I'm not really putting all my energy in here, I'm just gonna get hurt. I have to really concentrate. This guy's the real deal. Common sense would dictate, after seeing this, they'd be like, oh god, this is all a scam, it doesn't work at all. But here, this is where common sense goes to die, because they all left even believing stronger in it after having seen that woman get hit. Crazy. Just wanted to share this. That's about it. So yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, the title of the video is not misleading. Mr. Lonely himself, Akon, is behind a massive scam. If any of you watching grew up in the 90s or early 2000s, I'm sure that name rings a lot of bells, because Akon is an artist who was responsible for some absolutely iconic boner jams back in the day. And a few years ago, he decided to pitch a city, Akon City, which would be powered by the blockchain and have their own form of currency called Acoin. And I've got to tell you, the design documents here, the blueprints, the renders of what Akon City could look like are so outrageous it almost makes the Willy Wonka experience look like a good idea. I feel like everyone who takes even a glance at the proposed Akon City documents will immediately write it off as being impossible and just a load of baloney. And they'd be 100% right in that assumption. This will never happen. This city looks like something out of Final Fantasy. It's just not really feasible. Yet, Akon, as well as other collaborators, are doing their best to try and make it a reality. Though after years of work, the only thing they have to show for it is a single welcome center that has a graffitied picture of Akon on the side. And it doesn't really welcome you to anything because there's nothing to show for it. It just welcomes you to something that's emptier than my colon after eating Greek yogurt first thing in the morning. It takes you to basically just an empty field, though there is a single building skeleton there that has a staircase and that's it, and then just a bunch of cattle roaming freely. So there is no real progress being made on Akon City, and it really seems like from the beginning this was supposed to be just either a full-blown scam or just a narcissistic ego piece for Akon. Because it makes no sense why Akon would introduce a cryptocurrency to Akon City when a lot of African regions already use cryptocurrency in their day-to-day lives. If he was really trying to make this a real thing that wasn't just trying to take advantage and exploit people, it would have made more sense for him to just use the already established Bitcoin or Ethereum, which is prevalent throughout Africa. But instead he introduced his own cryptocurrency and said, "I am the bank." He also is the douchebag behind Akon fucking a ton of early investors. So they actually did sell Akon, and a lot of people bought into it, and then it immediately collapsed. It went from a 132% gain to a 60% loss, and then started offering refunds. And all these investors, when trying to get their refund, basically just got cold-shouldered and never got their refunds for this. They basically just got rugged like everyone else with the crypto boom a few years ago. But anyway, I recommend checking out Patrick Cece's video for an in-depth look at a lot of what went on behind the scenes at Akon City and Akon himself here. I want to show you what Akon City was supposed to look like and how fucking stupid this entire project seems just from like an outside perspective. It really looks like an impossible to complete task that somehow Akon promised would be done by 2024, and yet all they have right now is like a bare bones welcome center and like a single like skeleton of another building. That's about as bad as the Soulja Boy Game Boy. Okay, show a little respect for the Soulja console. Also, Akon City is so much worse than just releasing a fraudulent game console. It is disgusting to compare the two. Akon's City is like the most egregious, over-the-top scam. Like, it's so much worse. Akon actually has a video showcasing it. Look up, "This is Akon City." I don't think I ever saw this. I only ever read about Akon City. So here's the entertainment district. What are these? These aren't even buildings. This looks like when you go into Roller Coaster Tycoon and fuck up the terrain. Who's your architect? This is what it looks like when you like actually trip acid for the first time. It's even bad CG. Yeah. It's melted. Yeah, I guess their chief architect is Salvador Dali. Brought him back with the Akon City in-house necromancer. The Tech District? What does this mean? Tech 003421? What tech what? What is the tech? What are they doing here? Lex Luthor live here or something? What does this mean? What does it mean? Butt Plug City. Yeah, I mean, not wrong. This all does look like something you'd find on Bad Dragon. Health and safety. Wait. Hold on. Oh, wait, it's this building. I thought he just reused Tech 001 here for the health and safety building, but it's this building. They're just side by side. Yeah. This is the police station here. They inhabit this pack of hot dogs. Here's the fire department, which is conveniently placed in the worst possible position for them to get anywhere, because they're going to have to navigate this minefield, this fucking labyrinth. Good luck having a quick response time from the firefighters. Unspecified office building, I guess. Residential building. General hospital. Outpatient clinic.
This is another residential building. Just this coral. Game name? Oh no, this is a city. This is a Akon city in real life. Apparently they actually did build a building though, so I'm gonna have to check that out. I never saw this video go up for it. Education district, this is Education 1, Education 2, Education 3, so I'm guessing this is pre-K, kindergarten, middle school, high school, and then everyone parks here in this teardrop, and then another residential building. Osmosis Jones type landscape. Bro modeled the city from the mitochondria. Yeah, true. So here's the Scenewood district. Oh, here, Akon Tower. He's even got his own, like, Avengers building. So this is where Akon lives, and only Akon. Wait, wasn't this in the tech district? Isn't this building already occupied by tech? Am I misremembering the layout? It might be too sophisticated for my tiny little reptile brain, but I'm pretty sure that was one of the tech buildings. Oh no, it's right here. It's right above Tech 4. Then a bunch of filming studios, more residential buildings, some more office buildings, and this random media tower, I guess. Looks like a cactus theme park. Yeah. Convenient location. All of this looks like Hitachi wands. It looks less like butt plugs, and it legitimately looks like the things you'd see in porn. Those, like, really, ribby wands. Looks like Cryptoland 2.0. Well, apparently it's powered by the blockchain, so it kind of is Cryptoland 2.0. I have to imagine whoever put this presentation together was actually laughing so hard as they charged Akon an exorbitant amount for it. Yeah, I'll throw this piece of shit together for like, I don't know, like $3 million bucks. Done. Shake my hand. Looks like a pretty cool place to live. I don't know what I'm looking at here. It's just random JPEGs that are floating through on this building, but how could you not smile if you lived in a place like Akon City? Alright, let's see the current Akon City. Do we really need an explanation for why Akon City will never happen? I think we all know just by looking at the design blueprints there. Like, come on.
Building has like futuristic curvatures outside. It definitely looks like something out of Wakanda, but only one building so far.
Whoa, what was this? Wait, what? This is there right now. Also, you should probably have someone else come in and do the artwork on the side of your building. Why? That looks like extremely low poly. It's like a PS1 render of Akon. You could definitely find a better artist for that. In March 2022, Stevens asked a judge to freeze Akon's New York assets, claiming that without the measure, Akon would have difficulty repaying an alleged debt. Stevens' lawyer, Jeffrey Movitt, alleged in his affidavit that Akon City and Akon exhibited many of the trademark characteristics of a fraudulent business venture, such as Ponzi schemes and pyramid schemes. Akon City was likely a scam. Akon denied the allegations about Akon City. The following month, he paid $850K to settle part of the ongoing lawsuit. He said the motion to freeze his accounts has been made out of spite. I mean, likely a scam is very generous. It is 100% a scam in every possible version of the word. It is official. That's the only thing they've built at Akon City. It's just a welcome center with his face on it. Well, why can't I... Does anyone ever pay a visit to the welcome center? I want to see it. Tour of Portland Art Gallery. I'm excited. I bet we're going to see some very good work. Which one? You said skip 40 seconds. Oh my god. It's beautiful. I'm starting to tear. Oh. Wow. This is incredible. I need to pay a visit to this. It really makes you feel like a dumb asshole.
In this piece, I play the student. You know,
this is a performance piece.
I play this kind of strange version of an
interesting
anthropologist. I play this kind of strange version of the bad student.
Is this part of the exhibit, or did someone leave their toy here, like a kid? I can't tell. That's the beauty of art galleries.
You never know what's art and what's just a happy little accident. I'll give you 50 grand for this.
It's a journey through like a very specific part of Norway.
This is
very specific parts of their cultural history.
Wow. Really just take a moment to let that one sink in. That looks so good. Actually looks like something I would draw up in 30 seconds. Like if I was trying to quickly get across an idea and I doodled something, that's exactly what it would look like. Maybe a little better.
How we've arrived where we are, and
oh, this is part of the exhibit. Okay, that answered that. Okay. Nice. No, that was good. I am curious. Let me see someone who defends Jackson Pollock. That's my go-to. I think this is what most people go to. Let's see how you defend it. Oh, I already hate the way this... I already fucking hate the title. How to understand a Jackson Pollock painting, as if you're too fucking stupid to get it. Oh my god. It's just, they literally just don't have the ability to not be pretentious douchebags. Good lord. Yeah.
To make this work, Pollock placed the canvas on...
I know exactly how he made it work.
Spattered and dripped the paint, making a painting which is about the substance of paint itself, the fact that paint is liquid. And when we see paint on canvas, normally that's hidden. You know, paint is made to resemble something else, whether it's a sky or a field or flesh. But what Pollock does is just present us with paint as paint. He was the first person to do this.
You know what else presents paint as paint? The fucking can that the paint comes in. That's actually kind of smart. Has anyone done that? If you just take like paint cans? Like if I put paint cans on like a table at an art gallery, could I sell that? Or I'm sure that's been done. There's no way that hasn't been done. Am I an abstract artist? Oh my god, I might be a genius. Could I be the next Jackson Pollock? I just buy Michael's paint and just on the table. I'm not trying to fool you. This is paint. It's not supposed to resemble anything else. This is Crying Dolphin Blue. And it's right in front of you. 50 grand.
Many people have tried to copy Pollock. None of them have the energy, the spontaneity, and the sheer skill in handling paint that he has.
Oh, very skillful.
You read the painting as being different shades of grey, fairly restrained, but when you get
it's the work of a true master.
Jump out at you. And then on top, he's layering this riot of colours. Silver, cream, pink, grey.
Fuck, yeah, no, now that I really get up close, I can see the talent.
Sometimes the lines are quite thin and fine. At points, the paint pools.
Oh, whoa, look at... Jesus Christ, look at that! No doubt Jackson Pollock planned for that. Maybe this guy really was 10 levels above standard human intelligence, a transcendent being. Look at the way he's able to get the paint to subtly pool in here, blending multiple colors, challenging the very idea of how we perceive paint as paint. Is it even paint? Is it even liquid anymore? We have to start to question thanks to Pollock. He's posing a difficult question, an inquiry into the very deep recesses of our mind. And he's using paint as a medium to challenge us. It's him slapping the gauntlet on the table and saying, hey, buddy, let's fucking fight. And Pollock, I'm picking up the gauntlet. I'm ready to fight. I'm starting to see it now.
The paintings are all incredibly human in the sense they're scaled to the reach of Pollock's arm. So each of those lines is recording the gesture of his hand.
Oh, yeah.
As...
look at these gestures. I can see it. I'm actually picturing it. I'm having like an actual, like fucking That's So Raven flashback to the past and instead of the future. I'm seeing Jackson Pollock with each of these dripping a little paint, a little black there. I think I can deduce his height from this one. Approximately 5'4", maybe little baby arms. Definitely late 50s. Oh yeah, I can smell he's a drinker. Oh my god, the painting really tells you everything you need to know about the man behind it. Oh, I never stopped to really think about the gestures required for such precision. Like, it looks chaotic to the untrained layman's eye, the Philistines, but when you really take a step back, you can see the laborious nature of each and every splatter. Oh my god, it's finding beauty within the chaos.
So in a sense, Pollock, the artist, is present here with you as you're looking at the painting.
Yeah,
I can feel the spirit of Jackson Pollock nodding as I appreciate his work. Of course, he wasn't allowed into heaven because he was too talented. He was a better painter than even God. God couldn't paint a masterpiece like this. So they turned him away at the gates of heaven, and hell couldn't accept him. So he's left in between worlds, in between dimensions, and he's just here with us now, as we appreciate his art 60 years later. In fact, I believe it's said in each of Jackson Pollock's work, a piece of his flesh is sewn into the canvas. His corpse travels with the pieces. He's going to live forever now. As a fucking joke. And thanks to the bits Arcfang. Jackson Pollock is Voldemort, and these are his Horcruxes. Yeah.
This painting is incredibly honest. Pollock isn't trying to fool us in any way.
I said
However,
that.
Our brains
Let's go!
can't resist.
I am Pollock! Now that it's been explained to me, now I truly do get it. Now I absolutely understand it.
Who thought that art should be gestural, expressive.
Oh
and
my
emotional.
fucking god!
Unconscious.
Oh, there's so... Oh my god. Imagine, like... So this is the villain, right? So Jackson Pollock, he starts this movement where you can just literally drop a little paint on a canvas and sell it for millions, whatever. Do little scribbles. Imagine, like, you have this final raid boss of, like, actual dog shit. And then the hero is someone that just takes a blank canvas and dumps some white paint on it. Like, there are no winners. It's just two different evils.
His arm, it's who he is as a person that's creating that canvas, that painting.
As opposed to someone who paints using their body as well, but actually paints something. It is still them as a person creating that art. They make this weird distinction. They look for any and all fucking absolutely asinine explanations for why anyone should care about Jackson Pollock's process.
Minimalist artists stripped art of the burden of being about something else. They presented art not as an imitation of reality, but as an object unto itself. Artist Frank Stella summed it up nicely when he said, "What you see is what you see." One of my
Like, whenever I think it can't get any fucking dumber, like we've reached the zenith of absolutely mind-boggling, pretentious douchebaggery, there's something like Frank fucking Stella. What you see is what you see. That is literally the meme of the floor is made of floor. And fucking dumbass Vox says that he sums it up nicely. Oh my god, he gets pats on the ass for saying nothing.
One of my favorite things about modern art is the rage that it seems to provoke in some people. Cue videos of men freaking out.
True, me.
I'm not going to sit there, try to find a meaning.
You can use Vox. You can use my reaction in your next shitty follow-up.
I may not understand art, but I do understand the English language, and that's pretentious nonsense.
When you're looking at simply a square of white paint, you have to do a lot more work, but sometimes there maybe is something more rewarding in the end.
Another common reaction to modern...
there is not. Like, even if I somehow put multiple fingers up my ass, sniffing them to get the fumes up there to really, like, delusion myself, like, hugely enough to find any kind of meaning in this, there's no reward in it for me. I don't get anything for it. There's literally nothing at the end of that tunnel. The only reward is to the artist that put no effort into it and sold it for a lot of money to people that have been brainwashed to make them believe that it's worth that price. Like, there's nothing for it. Obviously, money laundering is a huge thing, but there are, like, I think she's an art student or something, I don't remember what they said. She is convinced by the lies of money launderers that this is somehow worth any amount of money.
So if looking at a white painting makes you feel angry, or excited, or soothed, those are all valid responses. But take a moment to think about why that was your response.
I think they're conflating wrong things here. I don't think anyone's mad that Jackson Pollock trickled little dribblings of paint across a canvas, or someone submitted a canvas they bought from Michaels as art. They're mad about the price that it sells for and the people that defend it. It's never really the piece itself. Like we looked at Diana earlier, which was a potted plant that was store-bought and put on a shelf. And that was the art. I'm not mad about that. I think that's fucking great. I think that's a wonderful joke. But if I heard that sold for $100,000, that would be upsetting to me. Like, they're not grasping that concept, I don't think. I don't think there's anything anyone could ever say or any explanation for any of this that would ever actually change my mind on the interpretation of empty canvas work and splatter paintings. I just don't think there's any way to. No matter how you break it down, it is all trash. Make sure to check out the other Vox video about what the formula is for selling $1 million work of art.
In September of 2008, something unheard of happened in the art world. A British artist, Damien Hirst, took
fuck me. Oh, I hate this guy. I can't stand this guy. But I also like that he scams people. I'm so divided on this guy. He scams really rich assholes, and I think that's great. But I also just don't like him at all. Oh, fuck.
123 pieces of his new work to Sotheby's auction house and sold every single piece.
I'll start the bidding here at £2,500,000.
Yeah.
It was a 2-day event, and the total sale was about $200 million.
That's a lot of polka dots.
Record, but in order to sell
I think it sucks, Mercurius. That's the 433 of silence, right?
You need extremely high demand, and a ton of work goes into creating that. As Don Thompson describes in his book, the formula for art pricing goes something like this. The bigger the work, generally the more expensive it is. But the biggest variable is the reputation of the artist. Sometimes
that's
you're
all
world
that
famous
matters.
and
Literally
sometimes
all
you're not.
that matters. What? Needs to be some Lunabat. I will pursue an art career under a pseudonym, and you'll never fucking know. You will never know. You're gonna question every goddamn shitty art piece, wondering, was that Charlie behind it? The word influencer is without a doubt one of the worst terms we've ever widely adopted. It is just such a yucky term, but there's a way of making it even worse if you put the word mom in front of it. Mom influencer, upon just hearing that, induces nausea. It's like a real brown note. For those that don't know, the brown note is a legendary myth in music. It's basically a forbidden jutsu, but for sound. Fundamentally, it boils down to a frequency that, when exposed to a person, causes them to void their bowels, causes fecal incontinence. So you shit your pants when you hear the brown note and you have no control over it. The term mom influencer does something similar, but instead of just pooping your britches, you get sick. I think there's nothing wrong with mothers making internet content on, parenthood or educational content on what it's like to be a mom. That's all great. That's wholesome. But then there's a step too far into lunacy where you cross into the dark side of the force here. And that's mom influencers that use their children like props for them in their videos for their own online fame and clout. I feel like those kind of parents don't care about their children at all. They're just living vicariously through them in order to fulfill something in their life that they were unable to do on their own. So now they use their children for that online, brownie point shit and attention. And that's what we're talking about today, with one mom influencer in particular. Her name's Katie, and a couple years ago she made a viral video about how her children were nearly kidnapped outside of a Michael's. And boy howdy, would you believe it, it turns out it was a load of baloney. She made it all up for internet clout. But this also came at the expense of 2 actual people here that she accused of being the ones to try and kidnap her kids, and she did report it to the police. So not only did she fabricate the story, she nearly had 2 innocent people fucked for life for this. So it is downright evil and degenerate. And now, it's a few years later, she has been convicted for lying about this. Her sentencing is upcoming, but it's very nice to see justice finally being served. It's a little upsetting it's taken so long, but you know what? We're here. Now let's get you caught up on the story because it's a wild one.
This morning, a popular social media influencer who falsely accused a couple of trying to kidnap her children, now convicted of lying about the whole ordeal.
Monday of this week, my children were the targets of attempted kidnap.
This is the face of a fib. She's not being truthful. She now owes a quarter into the lie jar, and that jar's gonna be filled to the brim after this case, because she's a fucking liar. So, Katie went on Instagram, made this story accusing 2 random people in a Michael's store she was at of trying to kidnap her kids outside of Michael's.
And I want to share that story with you in an effort to raise awareness as to what signs to look for.
The whole idea behind all of this is so silly. Hey guys, my kids were almost kidnapped. Now let me tell you what I learned about this experience. Make sure to slap that like button for more kidnapping avoidance tutorials, and stay tuned next week where I throw my kids into a coal mine and we see what happens to their lungs so I can give you educational content on how to avoid children in coal mines. Like, what do you mean signs to look out for in the case here of the kidnapping outside of Michael's? What? Giant trench coat? If there's a couple with a huge trench coat and they're stuffing kids inside of there, big red flag. And watch out for the stork coming through and grabbing your kids with their big fucking talons. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Now, of course, there could be real advice you could give to somebody on, like, signs to look out for creepy people that might be up to no good. Like, hey, maybe if these people are stalking you throughout Michael's and following you to your car, you know, then maybe you should alert people around you, that kind of thing. Or just making people aware, like, there's nothing wrong with involving outsiders if you feel like you're in a situation that could be potentially dangerous. That's all fine advice. But it's not the advice she's aiming to give here. She even says that, you know, parents are too preoccupied with making sure their kids are masked up that they no longer look at them, so it just leaves an opportunity for a stranger to come in and fucking steal the stroller out from under their nose or something. Like, at least alludes to that. Keep in mind, this was a few years ago during the height of the pandemic, so masks were a huge talking point. So she makes, like, the point she's making about, like, signs to look out for are basically just, like, open your eyes. She's basically just telling people to be a parent. It's ridiculous. It's the story she tells here offers no good insight on things to be aware of unless you're an absolute fucking oblivious idiot to everything around you. Like, these are all things people would absolutely notice and be uncomfortable with the same way she is in the video. Of course, it's all made up at the end of the day, but still, like, the whole purpose behind it and the message she tried to get across makes no sense. It's so laughable. Found the full video. It's like 15 minutes long. And it is one of the most descriptive things I've ever listened to for a completely make-believe story. She talks about this story like she's in a creative writing course and giving a presentation in front of the class for a piece of fiction that she wrote. It's outrageous the amount of detail she goes into, like when she's getting to the climax of everything where the stroller was almost snatched and her children abducted. She's talking about, like, they took 2 steps forward, but then 3 steps back. They did the hokey pokey and they turned themselves around. You know, I saw the fear wash over me. I could feel it. My pupils were dilating as this absolute menace, this villain, was approaching me with ill intent and malicious aura surrounding them, like a bat out of hell. It's outrageous. It is all completely fucking fanfic make-believe.
Falsely claiming that strangers tried to kidnap her 2 young children on December 7th, 2020, outside the Petaluma, California Michael's store. The Sonoma County DA's office says the videos were posted about a week after Sorensen reported the supposed kidnapping attempt to police.
So what's wild is she didn't just make this story up for the sake of Instagram views and likes. She did report this incident to the police, who pretty quickly were able to dismiss it as a bunch of fucking hoo-ha. They immediately really realized that the events she was describing on Instagram were completely different than the events that she had described to the authorities. It was wildly different. And after talking to the couple in the clip you saw there, that photo of the couple, after talking with them, they realized that there's no evidence at all. There's no witnesses. There's nothing to corroborate anything that Katie was ever saying. Which is weird because in Katie's story on Instagram, she even talks about, like, some fucking vigilante, a hero that was there to come and help her out and save the day, really. So it's weird that there wouldn't be any witnesses to confirm any of this happened. So all of it is just so scummy and baffling that she would do something like this for the sake of internet clout. Because she didn't just go home and make this video. She did report this to the police. Why? Why go that step forward? I guess in case people would call her out on it, she'd be able to pull up a police report or something, but she should have known that they would have gotten to the bottom of this and realized that it was all a lie. And reporting a false crime is a crime. You can't do that. You can't just knowingly make some shit up and then report it to authorities and then potentially ruin the lives of the people that you are falsely accusing. That's just downright evil.
In the video, Sorensen described a number of details about the alleged incident that hadn't been disclosed to police. The accused couple, Sadie and Eddie Martinez, say they actually recognized themselves in this photo and came forward to deny Sorensen's claims.
She wanted a stronger following. She was looking for, content for her fame and her income, and at our expense.
I think they're absolutely correct. I think the main motivator behind all of this was just that internet attention. A little fucking clout goblin was born on this day, and it did work for however brief a time. Katie did receive a lot of love, got a lot of new followers on Instagram, had a huge outpouring of just well wishes from the community for such a traumatic experience and her bravery for sharing it and all of that. And she did build a big following from all of this at their expense, but her house of cards has now come crumbling down clearly, and there were already signs that this was very fishy even a few years ago, where authorities were like, this is a bunch of mumbo jumbo, this isn't real, there's something goofy afoot here. So this has been a long time in the oven here cooking, and now we've reached the point where she doesn't have that following anymore. She lost some of her most avid supporters, clearly, because you can't really support someone that does something like this. So now the only thing she has is potentially 6 months in the slammer for this.
Sorensen's attorney maintains his client did not lie to police.
She misperceived and misunderstood a series of random events which were occurring around her, and made a honest report to the police on December 7th.
That man looks fearful for his life right there. I don't know what's going on, if he's some kind of like prototype android that's having a hard time expressing emotion, or if Katie's threatening him with some kind of wild accusations and he's feeling the pressure. That man was robotic. But basically the defense is, Katie was too fucking stupid to understand what was happening, so she ended up just making a report that is completely not grounded in reality at all. And we're very sorry that she's so dumb. So they're just playing the she's an absolute idiot card, which I guess is becoming a very popular defense. There's a difference between being stupid and being dangerously stupid. If you're the kind of person that's so fucking dumb that you start making false reports and accusing innocent people of heinous crimes, that's still not excusable. You can't just write it off as, they're just a quirky weirdo that's dumb. You can't do that. They still need to face punishment for that. So even if the guy here is correct in that she just misperceived everything, she still needs to be punished for falsely accusing this couple of things that just didn't happen.
Her attorney adding that it was when Sorensen reviewed the evidence that she realized she was wrong.
I don't think she had any understanding of how this would spread and the impact it would cause.
But some legal experts say this verdict is about accountability.
This is a woman who lied for clicks at the expense of a couple in California who wrongly accused them of a very serious crime.
I agree. Katie does need to be held accountable for what she's done here. I personally think this wasn't just some like, oops-a-daisy, I'm so dumb moment, I misunderstood everything that happened and made up an entire story around it, silly me. I really think this was a calculated content play where she knew a video like this would garner a lot of support. Because, obviously, who doesn't want to rally behind a mother who went through a traumatic experience but came out okay and is using that as an opportunity to try and educate people in her community to be better prepared for scary things like that in the future. She probably knew that this video would go insano style on views and engagement, so she went for it. And man, what a terrible idea it was. I don't buy the whole narrative that she's just a bumbling fucking idiot who just misunderstood everything. I think that's a load of hogwash. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this story because it's a weird one. That's about it. So, yeah. You know those situations where someone was right about something and they always say like, I don't need to say I told you so, you learned your lesson, I'll be the bigger man here and not say I told you so? That's just such a load of dog shit. I'm 5'6", I'm not that big a man, so here's me saying I told you so. About like 6 months ago, maybe even longer, on stream, I went on a massive tirade about how the majority of those primitive building YouTube channels were fake. And I pulled up multiple videos to try and prove my point, and I was met with nothing but vitriol. People were calling me stupid, calling me wrong, calling me dumb idiot brain, like all kinds of insults about me not being right. Despite my evidence being pretty much irrefutable, I thought, people just wanted to live in their delusion that their favorite primitive building YouTube channel was legitimate, but they're not.
and a YouTuber named SunnyV2 posted a massive video that's done extremely well that most people have seen by now, which vindicates me, proving that the channels that I'm talking about were fake. There's only a couple real ones, the biggest being Primitive Technology, which I always said was real. It's the only real one that I know of, but I'm assuming there's others that I just haven't looked into enough. But the majority of them, the very popular ones, are fake. Primitive Technology Idea, Mr. Tfue, like all of these massive ones that sprout up out of nowhere, get 500 million views. They have like all of these crazy intricate things like water slides with giant giraffes and crocodile statues in there looking like a fucking mini golf course that they apparently make out of sticks and stones. All of those are fake. Obviously. But no one wanted to believe me when I was trying to prove it, and now that Sunny's made a video on it, now everybody knows that they're fake, and people have apologized to me in Twitch chat for not believing me, and I accept your apology, but still, I told you so. Now let's go through the video and go through the evidence a little bit and get a little more in depth on it. Have you seen the video debunking those primitive building videos? I actually still haven't seen Sunny's video on it yet, but I also debunked those videos on stream, and I was met like I was trying to teach teriology. No one believed me. I tried debunking it on stream because I was telling people that most of them, almost all of them, are fake, and nobody fucking believed me until SunnyV2 posted his video on it. Now I've been vindicated. But yeah, I still haven't seen his video yet. He came out with real evidence and explanation. Man, suck the dirtiest part of my ass. I came at you with, voice crack, with real evidence and explanation, but you guys didn't want to hear it at the time. I brought up like 3 different videos showing the aftermath of primitive building videos where someone bought like 10 acres of property and there was like multiple locations where they made those like underground primitive swimming pools and shit, and you could actually see construction equipment, tire tracks, and all of that. And you guys were like, no, those are just naturally occurring jungle tire tracks. Like, I came at you with evidence, and you still didn't believe me.
Almost every single primitive building channel is underpinned by countless different lies, and we've got tons of evidence to prove it.
Goddamn right we do.
Now, we need to put an emphasis on the fact that this is a 500 million views per video. Users.
That channel name is so shameless, Mr. Tfue. Is it supposed to like capitalize off Tfue being a popular YouTuber in the algorithm? I'm actually not super familiar with this one. Was that the idea behind it?
Users continued to mention one name over and over, crediting him as legitimate amongst the sea of phonies. Primitive Technology.
Yep.
The 10.4 million subscriber channel, which is when going back to the beginning of these silent, relaxing videos, it becomes pretty obvious as to why they're credited.
If Sunny plays the same videos I played in my evidence, I'm gonna be tight.
Primitive Technology cuts no corners and shows how each stage of the construction is legit.
Yeah, Primitive Technology is real. Again, this follows the same format as everything else on the internet. Someone comes out, does something super impressive, legitimately, and a lot of other people will try and do it as quickly as possible to cut as many corners as possible to try and capitalize off it. It happens everywhere, so it's not like it's surprising that it happened with Primitive Technology. But yeah, he's legitimate. 100%.
Or blue.
And it's a weird blue colour. Why is it so blue? Probably because they're probably putting dye in or something. There's no reason for it to look so blue like that.
Are they really creating these structures out of mud and sticks? Well, when you do a little bit of research, the answer to this question is most certainly no. The best evidence for this is found when—
I mentioned this as well. In all of these videos making these elaborate, luxurious pools in the ground here out of nothing but sticks and elbow grease, they have like the bluest water of all time. And they're supposed to be getting this water from like nearby rivers or springs that they bring back to their location using like hollowed out logs and making a network out of that. But that's just a bunch of fucking baloney. So in the rest of the video, you'll see the cameraman even mentions that they just bring water themselves and put it there. And in another video that I brought up on stream, also mentioned in Sunny's video, it's mentioned that the water that's at those pools isn't even close by. They don't actually use logs or anything. There's even like PVC piping and stuff in order to help with it. But that is just absolutely not even close to being real in any sense.
Frame that in an 8-foot deep trench. Now, if they're digging this deep with sticks, how are they avoiding large rocks and potential tree roots from, you know, the massive line of trees seen just behind them? Are they being assisted by large machinery? Well,
no,
we'll get to
they're
that
just
in a
very
little bit,
strong.
but first, let's focus on the clip where a guy in a white t-shirt can be seen working on a project in the background. Yet, if—
No, that's just their cameraman. He's also using sticks over there in order to whittle out just a little stubborn branch is all.
as the video would suggest. It is a large operation, as you may suspect, with a large team.
I'm shocked.
After he then offered to answer any questions we had about their channel, we attempted to figure out how many different construction sites before capturing over 8 minutes of footage with a drone. We'll refer to.
So you guys believe it when he puts this in his video? I pulled this exact fucking thing up in my rant on these things being fake. But now that he puts it in his video, you guys believe him? That is actually hurtful. That actually hurts my fucking feelings.
There's initially a clip where 8 different workers can be seen standing around a rectangular hole in the jungle, followed by another grainier clip from a far distance where somewhere between 7 and 10 people can be seen building a swimming pool. So
to further explain this clip, which is something I've talked about at length, a YouTube channel named Photo Expression flew a drone around an area where a lot of these primitive builds took place. A lot of pools and structures like that. And he saw a lot of the aftermath, which is just a ton of trash everywhere, cement bags, tire tracks, as well as pointing out inconsistencies such as the amount of people that'll get like to work on these. So as you just saw, like teams of 7 to 10 in some cases, maybe even more. The cameraman even mentions that there's never really less than a dozen people working on a build. And this Photo Expression video just shows a lot of it and giving you a lot of insight into where the builds are taking place and how they're being done.
Is when you compare his meticulous method of creating fire in the wild to the fire making of these Southeast Asian primitive channels. As mentioned previously, it becomes comical. They slap a couple of rocks together before beginning an explosive
Well, they just have
fire on
better
large logs
rocks.
with no kindling whatsoever. John Winnon draws a big circle and begins to dig it out. Only in the next frame, suddenly there's spray paint on the ground that they forgot to rub out. Additionally, on the wall of the hole, these long smooth cuts can be seen which are completely incomparable to the cuts being made by the stick.
No, he's
Well,
using a
there's
bigger stick
reason
for those.
Turns out
obviously.
spray paint marks weren't the only thing that they forgot to rub out, as in the minutes that
Tire
follow,
tracks.
excavated tracks can be seen here,
Yep.
here, here, and here.
So now you guys believe these are real tire tracks? Interesting. Weird. You guys just think I'm some kind of big fucking bumbling idiot who doesn't know what fucking excavator tracks look like.
However, was that they forgot to take the actual excavator out of the top right-hand corner. According to the email sent to us by the cameraman on one of these channels.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure I pulled up that same video and even I didn't notice the actual excavator was there. Yeah, well, you know, I hit more times than I missed in my evidence. But that would have been a really compelling piece for me, I think, I'm not gonna lie.
The initial boring process, whilst incrementally we film the builders doing superficial works on the
I
whole.
would have never
The video
imagined
in
it
which
was
the excavator
this
can be seen in
big of
plain
an
sight,
industry,
then
though.
goes on to strangely display the collection of concrete from a river, which is the exact same clip reused from the previous video. Now, why would they reuse the same clip twice in 2 different videos? Well, it's because collecting concrete from a river is completely and utterly bogus. Concrete doesn't grow in a river, according to a civil engineer who had commented on one of these.
I will fully admit, I never really stopped to think about the gathering of concrete. To my stupid little reptile brain, I assumed that you could get something that resembled concrete using river minerals and dirt and mud and shit. I never realized how outrageous that was until Sunny V2's video on it, so I think that would have been a strong point for me to have made, but I was too stupid to make it, so I'm glad Sunny shed light on that, because it absolutely slipped by me. And I think it's important to note that even though it is clearly confirmed these are all fake except primitive technology and maybe a couple others, it's not going to affect them. People are still going to watch even knowing that because they just watch it for that comfort feeling like, oh, this is so satisfying. Oh, look at how cool that giraffe in the pool is. So it's not exactly going to hurt them, but it's at least nice that people will now finally know for sure that this shit is fake and stop trying to pretend that it's not. The WWE of primitive building. Yeah, honestly, at this point, I would go, like, full-blown showmanship here and just make it really entertaining. They should have storylines where, like, there's a rival builder, or, like, an evil construction man who comes by and tries to, like, tear their house down or something that they have to fight. Like, get real wild with it.
Has their own unique method for creating natural concrete. This channel's concrete is simply a mix of dirt and water, which, if you think about it for 2 seconds, doesn't create concrete and rather creates muddy water or mud, which is just dirt after the water dries. This other channel gets a bit more creative with it. Expression had stumbled upon various completed primitive builds, also showed that after these channels are finished building, the sites are simply left to rot. This video doesn't speak for every Southeast Asian primitive building channel, but in this particular case, rubbish was left everywhere, including, as you might guess, cement bags. bags. The fact that the videos are fake isn't were attached together then used to siphon water from a river to the pool, only there was no river. Photo Expression found the exact site of this pool, then stated in his video that in reality, the closest water source was more than 6 kilometers away. Instead, he found a bunch of blue plastic piping attached to a tap in the ground. The funny part is any scene where you see them sourcing water from some magnificent waterfall or lake, they're actually going somewhere perhaps hundreds of kilometers away and pretending to take it back. The video in which Photo Expression...
This camera guy seems so nice. Like, he just seems like such a jolly guy. Just like actively making fun of them while still working for them. Well, that's a big I told you so moment for me there. Thank you, Sonny. I've been vindicated. In fact, I built 3 mansions already. My man. They hated him for telling the truth. Yeah, I was just ahead of my time. Like Galileo. If I had to guess, I'd say all of those fake primitive building channels are probably all owned by the same company who just outsources it to multiple channels to try and get the most juice for the squeeze, which is why you see so many like variations of the same name, like Primitive Technology Idea, Primitive Technology Life. Mr. Tifu's kind of an anomaly. That one kind of comes out of nowhere and getting real wild, but I really do think it's probably like one company that does it, which is why they're all so similar. Last night on stream, a chatter traveled through dimensions to make me aware of a powerful entity known as Baba Vanga, who was a Bulgarian mystic and healer who passed away in 1996, but she was actually called the Nostradamus of the Balkans because she made so many predictions, and according to a lot of the people that truly subscribe to her power, a lot of her predictions have come true. So I decided to make like a colonoscopy and dive into this hole here to really uncover the truth behind Baba Vanga's abilities. Now, real quick, I just want to say the streams that I've been doing the last couple days have been unbelievably fun. There's been a lot of new faces in the chat that have just brought up a lot of really fun topics, like the other day with the orifice, last night with Baba Vanga. If you're not coming to my streams, you're really missing out. We're getting into some really deep shit. But anyway, we went over a lot of Baba Vanga's predictions on stream, and I did a lot of research after stream on her myself, personally. And she's got a lot of achievements to her name here. Her fucking gamer score for predictions is extremely high. She's got more badges than a Boy Scout because of all these predictions she's allegedly got right. By far her biggest, her crowning jewel, the one you see in every headline that mentions her name, even to this day, is her allegedly predicting 9/11. So this is what you'll see when you look into this. In 1989, Vanga allegedly exclaimed, "Horror, horror, the American brothers shall fall attacked by steel birds, wolves shall howl in the bushes, and innocent blood shall flow, those steel birds," you get it. This is her predicting 9/11, apparently. However, if you go back to try and look at any source with Baba Vanga saying anything like that pre-2001, it doesn't exist. This doesn't come up until well after 2001. In fact, that seems to be the case for a lot of the predictions she gets credit for. And for some reason, she gets credit for anything at all that happens in the world. If you went and got groceries today, well, you bet your sweet bippy Baba Vanga predicted it 26 years ago. If I went and masturbated right now, there'd be headlines about how Baba Vanga accurately predicted that Charles White would masturbate on April 18th, 2024 at 9 p.m. It's ridiculous. So from what I can tell, when anything happens, mainstream media or her followers will just say that Baba Vanga made that prediction over 26 years ago, and they won't even provide evidence half the time. And if they do, like in the case of 9/11 with the steel bird statement, no references to that exist prior to the event happening. So it seems to me, anytime something happens, they attribute it to Baba Vanga having predicted it after the fact. They put words in her mouth with predictions she herself never actually made. The predictions that she has made, like the official predictions from Baba Vanga that I can find, almost all of them have been wrong. Almost none of them have happened. And some of the ones she does get right are some very general ones that I feel a lot of people probably could have gotten right. The same exact thing with Nostradamus, who made so many fucking predictions that, yes, of course, some of them will be correct, because you spit out so many. I have a higher success rate and accuracy with my predictions on fucking video game announcements, and for some reason, they still write about Baba Vanga as if she's nailing all of these predictions all the time. It happens so frequently. Like in 2017, here's an article. Mystic who predicted ISIS 9/11 had 2 prophecies for 2018. You know what those prophecies were? One of them was that China would be the next superpower taking over the US, and that a new form of energy will be discovered on Venus. You can find media writing about her every year and attributing all kind of predictions to her, almost none of which ever even come close to coming true. For last year, 2023, here was her predictions. She said that there'd be a devastating nuclear disaster that would unfold in 2023 with a major power plant explosion that would cause toxic clouds to settle over Asia. And then there's another one of her predictions for 2023 about the Earth's orbit changing slightly. When we go through Baba Vanga's prediction timeline here in a moment, you're going to see that a lot of these sound like terrible sci-fi movie plots. Like time travel comes in, half animal, half human hybrids come in within like 100 years. It gets fucking crazy. It's like all of it is actually written by like Ridley Scott. But anyway, when I was going through mainstream media articles on Baba Vanga year by year, I noticed a pattern where they'd start talking about predictions that she in no way ever made from anything I can find. Not even her followers making rumors up about predictions, and yet mainstream media is saying that she said certain things that she just didn't. It's so weird. I really don't understand why. You can see Baba Vanga's predictions, and you can see that almost all of them are wrong. And yet, for some reason, people really believe that she had this superpower of predicting things before they happened. And the things she gets credit for are things that you yourself can't actually find any evidence of her ever making that prediction in the first place before the event happened. You're just taking strangers at their word that Baba Vanga said that before the event happened. Even though there's no actual documentation to confirm that. It's just people saying, no, she said that. Trust me. That's my source. Trust me, bro. It's just very odd. It's so strange. Do you see the psychic Baba Vanga, who supposedly accurately predicted 9/11, who said World War III will be next month? I've heard about Baba Vanga. She's allegedly predicted things like World War II, Chernobyl, and Barack Obama becoming president. World War II? What do you mean? She predicted World War II? Why didn't she stop it? God damn it, Baba Vanga. She predicted the orifice. Yeah, that was her final prediction. Most terrifying of all, the flesh box. But let me see her World War III prediction, since apparently she made one of those, which I doubt. It's probably just people putting words in her mouth. She was known as the Nostradamus. She was known as the Nostradamus of the Balkans. She left behind predictions for every year up until 5079, when she said the world would end. What was her prediction for 2023? That's a lot of predictions to be making. One of the most alarming 2023 predictions attributed to Baba Vanga concerns a solar storm which could have caused calamitous consequences. So that didn't work. So that was a lie. Imagine though. I mean, she gets credit for anything that does happen. So even though her prediction was wrong, she still got credit for something else that happened totally unrelated. So I mean, she still wins. Let's see the Baba Vanga predictions. 2010, World War III. Well, that didn't work. That was quick. So, she predicted World War III in 2010 and 2024? The war was supposed to begin on November 2010 and end in October 2014. Nuclear will be used initially and then chemical warfare. 2011, as a result of the fallout in the Northern Hemisphere, there will not be any animals or vegetation. 2014, man, this is, what? 2023, she didn't even try very hard. In 2023, her prediction was a little bit of change in the Earth's orbit. Yeah, moderate. I don't know. Earth moved differently in 2023, I guess. And then 2025, yeah, Europe still settled, kinda, a little bit. She's so popular in the Balkans, my president quoted her once. Why? Why? She's just wrong about everything. Like, immediately. If people were following her predictions, the world would be in a state of disarray. thinking a world war was happening in November of 2010, and that the nuclear fallout was going to kill every animal and plant. In 2028, creating a new energy source, probably a controlled thermonuclear reaction. Hunger is gradually being overcome, and launched a manned spacecraft to Venus. How in the fuck would we go from pretty much no life left here, and within 10 years, have the ability to send a manned spacecraft to Venus and solve hunger? And also, what would we accomplish on Venus? That's like one of the worst planets we could visit. 2046, any bodies, organs can be manufactured. Cloning, replacing the bodies, is becoming one of the best methods of treatment. So she must have watched the movie The Island with Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson. During the attack on the Muslim Rome, the United States used a new kind of weapon, the climate. The sharp cooling, instant freezing. And then 2076, we get a classless society, communism. 2084, nature is restored. In 2088, there's a new disease, aging for a few seconds. And then 11 years later, rapid aging defeated. In 2100, we get an artificial sun that illuminates the dark side of the... What the fuck is the dark side of the Earth? In 2111, people become living robots. Then there's a small war. Hungary gets signals from space. Then we get Atlantis. Somehow, in 2164, the animals turn half human. That's quite a plot. Why would they do that? How would they do that? Do we do that to them? Yeah, I guess we finally get, like, cat girls. Okay, and then we get a new religion 3 years later. Probably in no small part because of the half-human animals that we've now got living in our world that sprung up out of nowhere. I imagine they probably started the new religion. Drought. Colony on Mars becomes a nuclear power and demands independence from Earth. When did we... She's leaving out crucial details. So now we have a colony on Mars that's demanding independence from Earth. At some point. I guess we abandoned Venus. Stop 2 volcanic eruptions. We now have a full functioning sea colony. Sun slowing, thermonuclear processes, temperature drops. Humanity comes in contact with aliens, something terrible. And 2256, a spacecraft forgotten to Earth, terrible new disease. I don't know what that means. Is this like world patch notes? No, it's fucking Baba Vanga predictions, which apparently people really believe in, which is outrageous. Because she's just wrong about everything, clearly. She predicted World War III in 2010, and yet people still give her credit for everything that happens on the planet, saying she predicted it. In 2271, restart physical constants are changed, so the laws of physics change. You're telling me, 200 years from now, the laws of physics are going to change. Why would they do that? What the fuck? And then 2 years later, mixing yellow, white, and black races, new race. Wow, that's... Jesus, Baba Vanga. We get time travel in 2288 and new contact with aliens. The sun cools and we're making attempts to light it again. That's actually the plot to a Courage the Cowardly Dog episode, when Courage, Eustace, and Muriel go to the sun and change its light bulb. There's a powerful eruption on the sun which changes the force of gravity. So 3797, all life on Earth is killed, but mankind lay the foundations for new life in another stellar system. Assuming she means solar system. But we already have other planets that we've colonized. We've got Mars, apparently. We've got the power to artificially create suns. So yeah, I'm sure we can make do. 3854, the development of civilization virtually stops and people live flocks as beasts. But then we get a new prophet less than 20 years later that teaches us about religion. Huh? And then a new church. 4304, we found a way to win any disease. Due to mutation, people at last beginning to use their brains more than 34%. So we were stuck using 34% of our brain for how many hundreds of, or how many thousands of years? In 4509, we're getting to know God. The man has Fina. What is that? Is that like swag? The man has Riz? What is that? And why are we getting to know him now? He just said like, alright, look guys, 4,000 years is enough to stay up here. What's going on? It's good to meet you. Didn't she say that we have a time machine by now? Yeah, we had the time machine like 1,000 years ago. We had a time machine in like 2271, I think. Oh no, that's when the laws of physics changed. It was 2288 that we got time travel. So I feel like all of these things could have easily been avoided, like the bad stuff, if we just time travel. She gave us an OP technology way too early. 4599, we achieve immortality. 4674, development of civilization reaches its peak. The number of people living on different planets is about 340 billion. Assimilation begins with aliens. 5076, a boundary universe. With it, no one knows. 5078, the decision to leave the boundaries of the universe while about 40% of the population is against. We leave the boundaries of the universe? What's beyond the beyond the boundaries of the universe? That's like an anime plot. That's some Gurren Lagann shit. What? We just decided to leave the boundaries of the universe? How could we just even make that decision? We go to the universe sequel, I guess. But then in 5079, it's the end of the world. Who gives a fuck? We have like 1,000 worlds now. What are you talking about? We have so many planets. Who cares about the end of the world? That's small potatoes. I'm more curious about what we do when we leave the boundaries of the universe. That's DLC. Oh, yeah, perhaps. 3 out of 3,000, not bad. Well, the thing is, she also didn't even predict those things that she's getting credit for. They're not among her predictions. It's just people, for some reason, making it up on her behalf. But it's so weird, like, mainstream media plays into it as well. So, like, chilling predictions Baba Vanga made for 2024 that came true. The huge economic crisis. But she didn't do that. We just looked at her 2024 predictions. Well, there wasn't any. 2023, her prediction was the Earth orbit slightly changes. Is the Silk Song release date on there? Oh yeah, did she predict the final release date for the new Hollow Knight game? That's a good question. Let me check. Baba Vanga would know. I think she's just kind of become this figure that the media can draw on, like, oh, Baba Vanga says this. Gotta be careful, stay afraid.